welcome to the Coach's Show. My name is Coach Stewart. We're here with our fantastic track coach, Coach. Glad to have you on the show. How you doing?
Thanks for having us. I'm glad to be at Lawson, and it's been a great experience so far.
Well, hey, look, we're glad to have you. Let me tell you, one of the things that we've noticed is our track team was or at least track tryouts was markedly bigger. Interest in track was bigger. I mean, it was like night and day from from our past years. What did you do to get the kids so hyped up about getting into track?
I think part of it starts with me and my passion for track. So when I first talked to the AD about the program, from day one, I brought the passion that I have for the sport, and that usually translates over into the kids.
Yes, yes. Well, you can see it. Now, I'm a massive fan of any sport that's not in season going to track. I try to make it, I'm the girls' soccer coach, I try to make it to where all my girls, run track and run sprints, knowing good and well that they're not going to make the team. But it's not what I'm doing that for. I'm doing that for them to learn how to run. You know what I mean? And I figure just the tryout process alone, a track coach coming and seeing you, giving you a couple of pointers about sprinting is going to take you to a whole nother level. Tell us about the value of track as it affects all your other sports that you play.
I think track is a transferable skill, so it doesn't matter if it's soccer, if it's basketball, if it's football. It's a skill set that once you learn how to train and once you learn how to run properly, it can go into any other sport. That's nothing new. This has been going on since the 80s to 70s when athletes were three, four sports athletes, and we're trying to get back to that, and track and field is a centerpiece to all of that.
I mean, it really is. You can't beat it with a bat. A good friend of mine who actually played D1 volleyball for Ohio State. I was just talking to her last night, and her daughter is tall as a weed. Her daughter, I think, is in 7th grade, and she's already 5'9", 5'10".
Okay.
And she told me her daughter, after playing volleyball, getting recruited because of her height and athleticism to play basketball, that she's now running track. And she said, I did not become a full athlete until I started running track. Those were her words.
Right,
I mean, just verbatim from yesterday. So I think it does play into that. Let me ask you this: how are we looking?
I've been pleasantly surprised. So we're a young team. I scheduled hard early on before we get into the Metro meets. The first meet, we had several people in the top 25 in the 200 and the 400. Fantastic. Right now we're more of a 200, 400 team. We had a meet last Wednesday where we went over the NBA. I think we performed at a high level. We're young, and we're trying to put some perimeters around the things that have nothing to do with track. So it's really about life outside of track that we're working on right now. The talent is here. The kids are eager, they're learning, and we're very competitive. We just have to figure out what track and field is and what it's not, but we also got to learn what life looks like in the classroom, what it looks like at Lawson, and what it looks like outside of sports. Once we put those things together, I think we'll be the talk of the town when it comes to track and field. But right now it's early in the process. We're young, but at the same time, I've been pleasantly surprised at where we're at.
That's fantastic. And I think that sort of love that the kids hear, that we're not that far off, that you're good at what you do, and that they have belief in their coaches. That seems to be the overwhelming line that seems to be running through all these sports, whether it's football, whether it's my sport, whether it's your sport, whether it's basketball. I think the players actually believe their coaches know more than them about the sport that they're doing, and they feel like they're learning something. And that makes them eager students, fantastic athletes, and it like you said, it just domino effect. It goes all the way down. It goes into the classroom, goes into behavior in the hallway, all that type of stuff. Right. Give us a little bit more about you and your track background, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and he might get mad when I say this. I'm good friends with the AD, and he was extremely excited about y'all's first conversations, let alone you actually signing the dotted line and coming here. So tell us about you.
Yeah, so I'll take you back a little bit. So I come from a track family. My dad was a AAU track coach, so I grew up in a large family. We all ran track. So I've been around the sport pretty much my whole life. My two sisters are currently coaching track and field at high schools in Kansas City, but we grew up competing, and my nieces and nephews have kind of done the same thing. So I've been around the sport. We've been able to keep it going as a family on the coaching side and on as far as competing as athletes. So it's just something that I grew up with. It's something that I was able to use in my life in football. It always came back to the foundation of track. So I totally understand track and field. But I also recently, I've been coaching for a club team here in Nashville, Trial by Fire, jumps and sprints. I've been doing that for the last 5 years. And I have some really good mentors who have taught me the things I didn't know. I know I still have some blind spots, some things I'm learning, but the background in track, yeah, the background in track is pretty natural. It's really organic for me.
Okay, that's fantastic. I really like what you said about club track, and I'll be honest with you, I knew about it at the higher levels. It stands to reason because you have AAU, you have club soccer, you have, all, 7v7 football. All these are the more, you have travel baseball and volleyball and stuff like that. So it stands to reason that you would have club track. Now, because I do coach club, and I also coach, scholastic soccer, I do see sometimes a bit of I don't want to say talent difference, I want to say instructional difference. And these kids have had the private lessons and all kinds of stuff to kind of be where they are in their journey as an athlete. Is there a massive difference, and you can tell me this like I'm ignorant because I don't know, is there a massive difference between, let's say, a very good technical sprinter and then some kid who's just naturally blazes fast? I mean, which one would you rather have?
I'm more into the developmental side of it. You definitely need some natural athletes on your team to build around, but at the same time, the developmental piece is what I'm more into, and I get more excitement out of that piece. The biggest difference between the club side and the high school side, first of all, there's a perception that's out that the club side is more organized and the athletes are at a higher level. I don't totally agree with that. I don't disagree with that because the club, of course, do get the high-level athletes. But I still believe that high school sports play a huge role in these kids going to college and doing it the right way. The biggest difference I have noticed between club and at Lawson is that the kids have been doing it longer, and there's a different level of focus. But I still believe that three-sport athletes are the best athletes. Once you get to a certain age, there needs to be a certain level that comes with that. Most of the kids that we have that's on the club side, they're 15, 16, they decided collectively as a family to focus on track and field, and their development process happens a lot quicker. With that they can top out. So they may reach their peak at 16, 17. The kids that we have now at Lawson, the student athletes, they're so raw, and I don't know what the top looks like yet. So that's what I'm excited about. The coaching for me doesn't change. What we're doing at Lawson is the same thing I'm doing on the club side. The way we warm up, the way we get focused, the way we go and compete, none of that changes. So when I go into the arena and we're going to compete, I look at it the same way. We're coming with top-level athletes. We've trained to win, and that's what we're going to do.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you're 100%, you're right about it. I don't break my practices don't look different. If you went to one or the other, you would think, he's just doing the same thing and I am, because guess what? It's the same sermon. It doesn't really change that much. Where do you see the Lawson program going in the next 5 years?
Without a shadow of doubt, the #1 track program in Tennessee.
Okay.
And I say that not from a standpoint of bragging or just saying something, but I believe the talent is here. That's the first thing I noticed. I've been watching these kids for the last 3 or 4 months. I went to the soccer games, I went to the basketball games, I went to the football games. So that's what attracted me here. I knew the talent was here. We just had to get all the other things in place. Once we build a program, then I don't know what the top will be. Not only do I think we can be the best team in Metro, I think we can be one of the best teams in the state.
I honestly believe, and that right there is what I call the Froden way. He's got the Froden way for basketball, but I know for a fact that's what he was looking for in people that he brought on, him and Dr. Schaefer. Did you at least have it in your head that we could be #1? It has to be, because every coach I talk to, same amount of humility, but what we all want
Right,
is to be number one. What we want to be is the best. And I tell you right now, I am excited for football. I'm excited for girls soccer in the fall. You have some of my girls.
Right.
I'm excited because I know the level of training they're getting right now is addressing something I simply can't.
Right.
And
I get
it's only going to make them better, because maybe you're saying the same thing I've said just about perseverance and working hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now they're hearing it again and they're applying it to this different sport. It really is fantastic to see. Now I see over there you brought some of your track runners out there. That's good to see. I was gonna bring one on, but I don't know where he ran off to. These kids, these crazy kids, you just can't keep up. You can't keep up with them, but I'm glad they're here just the same. Tell me about upcoming meets. What do you have going on there?
So this weekend we traveled to Siegel, which is a big meet. There'll be 30 plus teams there. So this will be our second meet this year. We had 30 plus teams. We went to the Tennessee Jamboree. That was the first meet, 30 plus teams. Went to NBA last Wednesday night, and then we go to Siegel this weekend. The Siegel meet is always a measuring stick to see kind of where you're at before some of the bigger meets. After Siegel, we'll go to Green Hills, which is another. The Green Hill meet is important because a lot of the indoor athletes to come out, the ones that are at New Balance and some of the elite club level athletes, they'll come out for the Green Hill meet. After Green Hill, we'll kind of start working our way into the Nashville Metropolitan meets, and we'll also start gearing up for the grade A subsectional, sectionals, and state. I let the kids know from day one, those are the expectations for our program. We want to make sure that we're just not trying to win locally, but we want to compete at the highest level. So the schedule is tough, and some of it was just making sure that we remain humble, and this is what track and field is. But the other side of it was, hey, when I seen the numbers, I said, hey, we got enough numbers to go out and be very competitive in any meet. So let's go out and show Nashville who we are. But at the same time, we got to learn what track and field is.
There you go. There you go. Well, I tell you what, and I like to hear that. I like to schedule litmus tests to see where we are, what we're all about, and that's what you do. I believe we got a young man, Jacob Edwards. Where is he? Did he make his way back to? I think there was that hostess he was trying to holler at real quick. I don't know. Just come on around this way. Come on around this way.
What's up, Jacob?
Jacob, and we're going to pick you up in our microphones. Lean down just a touch to make sure you're on shot. Is he in here good on the 2-shot? Is that working? Awesome. Tell us about your event that you're running. Tell us about working with your coach. Talk to us in general.
So I run a 400.
Okay.
400, 4x4, all the 400 runner. I'll probably run some other stuff. Hopefully some hurdles coming into next week. But we are all, as a team, we're in good hands. Coach Coleman here, I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. You know, shout out to Coach Froden for finding them, because this is definitely what we needed coming in from last year. I was a freshman at Hillwood.
Right.
We weren't bad. We had the talent. It's just, at a coaching standpoint, it wasn't all together. And so we definitely needed another piece, or he brought in a bunch of other guys that we also could use. And he brought a whole new coaching staff, a whole new everything. We've kind of restarted what we've done, and so it's a whole new culture at Lawson. And I think we're going to be something good this year, especially under him. And we can definitely make it to farther places, and we can reach really, really tough performances with Coach Coleman here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I tell you what, salt of the earth kid, I also teach him. But wonderful, guys. Thank you so much for coming and supporting Coach's show today. We wanted to talk to you off the rip. Once again, I would reiterate, if there's any kid that is contributing to the culture of our school in a positive way, in all of our sports, we are giving every last sport love. I'm sorry we didn't have the track spikes up. Nobody get jealous of Coach Lilly in the football helmet. Football represents athletics.
Right.
That's what I'm all about, and that's what Coach's show is all about. I'm the girls soccer coach. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't put on a football helmet for nothing. But thank you guys once again for coming up. Excellent, and we look forward to you guys doing some great things in the season.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having us. Appreciate
it.
Yes.
Woo-hoo! And welcome back to the Coach's Show. I'm here with Coach Lilly. Yeah. I'm here with Coach Murray Harris, the athletic director from Bellevue Middle.
That's right.
Totally excited to talk with you because one of the things we have been talking about as coaches is how do we help develop our middle school talent and better prepare them for high school. So, for example, I give fair warning when I have my meeting about fall sports with the middle school 8th grade girls, the rising 9th graders. This is a whole nother thing you're about to get into. We do two-a-days. We work out. We work out in the weight room. You know, you don't come to practice when you feel like it. You come to practice, you know, things of that nature. And also just the general skill of the game. What is your strategy towards helping Lawson in your part of the cluster get the better student athlete?
Yeah, I believe just having the coaches set the bar high for our student athletes at Bellevue Middle and just really pushing the envelope to get them to strive to do their best every day in the classroom and at practice and just, you know, everything they do in their life, because that's going to help get them prepared coming to Lawson and competing at a high level with the rest of, you know, their peers, student athletes that are going to be on the teams with them, and that will help set them up for success on down the road.
Definitely.
And their teams too.
Definitely. Well, you guys came off of some pretty good results. But tell us exactly, how was fall and spring sports thus far? How's it been looking for the Mighty Owls?
Yeah, I think our fall was really good. Starting off with the volleyball team, advancing deep into the postseason. They got to the sectional tournament after winning the Western Division tournament and regular season, and then coming second in the city tournament. So I really feel like, you know, they set the bar pretty high for all the teams, you know, to start off the school year. And girls soccer had some success, and they made it to the Western Division tournament, and they didn't quite make it to the city tournament, but I know they're returning a lot next year, and they should be able to build off this past season. And then we got into football shortly thereafter. Girls soccer and volleyball got going, and the football team, they were a game shy of making the playoffs, but they do have a lot of 7th graders returning next year as 8th graders that hopefully, you know, that will springboard them with the experience that they had this past season and a taste of some success, you know, and just, you know, getting really close to making the playoffs, and hopefully they can get, you know, in that spot next year.
Well, you know, one of the things and I'm glad I'm talking to you as an athletic director, because I would share this to anybody in our cluster, is the youth movement at Lawson this year was insane. It kind of started for me last year at Hillwood. I played my freshmen, majority of whom came out of Bellevue Middle. Pretty heavy, you know, for freshmen, probably more than they were expecting. And then the freshman class that came this year as well. So my team was pretty heavy sophomore and freshman. The one message I would want maybe a middle school kid to understand is that this is a competition, and as a coach, I'm really not looking at your grade or age. I'm looking at your contribution to the team. So if you can be ready for me, I'll have playing time for you. And that seems to have proven true at Lawson more so than at any time that I've noticed. Was the youth movement has been pretty heavy. I mean, our teams are pretty sophomore and freshman heavy. How do you get that message across to your middle school, your Mighty Owls?
Yeah, just, you know, reiterating that message to them, to the kids I have in class that are student athletes that are going to play sports at Lawson on down the road, and then just having the coaches just, you know, reiterate that message, you know, at practice, you know, and just throughout the season and preseason, and really just, you know, hammering that into their head every day.
You know, I was talking last week, and one of the things that I noticed, I was talking about Fairview, and the middle school and the high school are all but on the same campus. There's separation, obviously. The middle school girls soccer team practices on the same field as the high school team. And what that does is creates an intense bond. I mean, trying to get a Fairview kid out of Fairview is extremely hard. They want to stay at their community school. What we want to do out here at Lawson is we want that exact same type of loyalty from our middle schools and even our elementary schools. I don't know if you know, but this side of town, more so than any part of Nashville, loses the majority of its kids to private schools. Well, now we have the $150 million facility right down the street. We want for nothing. We can pretty much educate you on any level that you want to receive education. Probably on some levels you don't. We have everything for you. How can we continue to foster the relationship, not just with Bellevue Middle, but with all of our cluster schools to kick up? Because I like how you tell the kids about Lawson, it's coming. You know what I mean? And I think that generates a bit of excitement for them. And the more they see us, the high school coaches, the more they're going to want to come. And the more they hear about it, the more they're going to want to come. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I believe, just having our kids, visit, you all's campus as much as possible there at Lawson with, the state-of-the-art athletic facilities and academic wings of the building, and, just seeing that they have everything at their disposal that they need to be a successful student athlete at Lawson, and just getting them to go to the games, but then also having that reciprocated where, the coaches from Lawson, go to the middle schools, the elementary schools, and just really visit and make their, name known and show their face, and, just trying to get out and promote their programs as much as possible, and, encouraging all those kids at all the feeder schools, elementary and middle, to come to the games and support the high school teams, because it very well could be them one day out there competing or cheering on their peers in the stands, and they can just go ahead and become a part of the game day atmosphere for all the sports and see what it's like to be a Lawson Lightning athlete, and also just see what the culture is among the student body at the athletic events.
That's pretty awesome. I wonder if, and I don't know, I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, if we could, and I know we have the cluster night during football, and all the fall sports come out and they get a little love, and they get to see the school and this, that, and the other. I wonder what sort of types of, maybe even weekend type of cluster only types of fairs or something that we can come up with, a host at Lawson. Shout out to Dr. Schaefer, I'm doing this idea in real time. You know what I mean? That could really just continue to grow that, because I think it's important. So tell us a little bit about your gig specifically. We want to hear, because I see you around a lot of basketball during basketball season. God knows you're a massive help to the Lawson basketball team, and this is long standing. You were help with the Hillwood. If there's anybody who's probably going to mess around and become mayor of Bellevue, it's going to be Murray Harris, because I tell you what, this is real talk. He has served his time at H.G. Hill. He's serving some good time here now at Bellevue Middle, and just all the help with basketball. My God, you served time at Lawson. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Tell us a little bit about your gig directly.
At Bellevue Middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can let that come into to the other stuff as well. But
okay, yeah. So this is my first year as athletic director at Bellevue Middle, and it's a full-time job within itself, really, because I want the best for all of our teams and our student athletes and coaches, and just being of much assistance as I can be to them, and I handle everything from GoFan, putting tickets on there, season tickets, individual game tickets, handling all the student athlete medical packets, physical packets, concussion packets, and making sure those are completely filled out and they're medically eligible to participate in their sport that they're going to be trying out for. And then also I'm in charge of putting everything in the TWSAA portal with eligibility of the student athletes as well, and putting the schedules out on the TWSAA website and shooting those out to the faculty and staff. And then also just making sure our facilities are, up to date and, everything is functional and looking good. And, and I've had a lot of work orders put in for the gym and the football soccer field at Bellevue. And, I'm a very attention to detail person. And so I see, if something needs to be fixed, we need to address it if we can. And, and just being a resource, for my coaches and any questions they, want to ask me, day or night. I'm always available, to help them out, and and just going to the games and supporting the kids as well. And that's pretty much my role. And and just making sure the coaches are checking their grades throughout the semester and making sure they're academically staying eligible to continue to play their sport. And yeah, that's pretty much my role in a nutshell.
That's a pretty awesome role, and still have time to help out basketball.
Yes.
Over out here, that to me is insane. Well, I tell you, Coach, I've known you for we're on year 2 now. You were a great help to girls soccer at Hillwood when you didn't have to be, and I appreciate that and help facilitate that relationship. We are excited to continue to grow with Bellevue Middle and with the student athletes Bellevue Middle is supplying the school with, because they've really been wonderful. So I thank you so much
Thank you very
for
much.
being on the show, and good luck with the rest of your seasons. All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now we'll just sit. Stop.
Okay.